Hello, everyone. We live in a timeline where Canadians may get P-pop, which, if you don't know what P-pop is, it's a presidential pop. Welcome to today's stream. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, but there'll actually be a stream tomorrow because me and my wife we don't really do Thanksgiving like we sometimes do. But this time we're not going to because we're too tired and too lazy, so we're not gonna. So instead, tomorrow will be a semi-Thanksgiving theme stream. Hopefully, you enjoy this one. It's actually terrifying too. Hopefully, I mean, let's see how it goes. We're gonna be playing some interesting things today. But before I do that, I have some food to show you. Some delicious meals that I didn't really know existed because I thought it'd be bad. Um, did you know that there's this idea of eating raw meat, which is normal. It's actually fairly normal to eat raw meat in many different circumstances, right? But in particular, this one's interesting because it's called a cannibal sandwich. And it's specifically from, I think, the state of Minnesota, Texas, and Wisconsin. Apparently, in Wisconsin, here we go. What they do is when it's like a holiday or something, or other festive events, they they just give you a sandwich involving raw meat. They tell you to eat it, and you're supposed to eat it, and it's like a thing that you do on these very important, very special holidays. And actually, oh, the Google Images is just so strange to me, but I didn't realize just how deep this goes because there's apparently multiple versions of this dish. So wait, let me just collect these images from this totally, not copyrighted source called Google Images as I pull up all these images. Oh God, at least like smushed up. Okay, so this is what a cannibal sandwich is. I don't I don't really know if I enjoy this. Like I raw meat is tasty in the sense of like steak tartare, right? Or even like, sushi. But the thing about steak tartare is that it's also combined with other things. It's not just the raw meat by itself. There's a bit more to it. Though I will say, like of the places that you go to eat steak tartare, a lot of them do not do it well. So for instance, this is steak tartare. It is ground minced beef. It's a French dish, and you top it with the raw egg yolk. I usually have it with the egg yolk, and they roll it up into a nice little patty with all the stuff around it, and then you eat it. Arguably, I feel like would taste better just being cooked, but I'm more of a flavor of the cooked meat kind of guy because of the Maillard effect with the caramelization and the browning and stuff, and also because of the various health risks, right? But at the same time, if that's what people are into, then by all means, right? But this, I don't know if I can get behind this. When I saw this, I was like, maybe I can get behind it, but it's something about the placement of it, something about the way that it looks, and it's something about the fact that it's there with just like a couple of slices of onion that makes me go, why did we decide to do this? And the history of this dish is actually very interesting. So apparently the history of this dish is that it is not an American dish. It's actually German. Because there's actually like an entire sandwich based around this idea of eating the raw meat. And there's a Wikipedia article for it. And really, the standards for it is so high that it's very hard for you to get sick from it. So you have to get it when somebody. Oh, nice. There's a website called GermanCulture.com/UA. When you go to buy the meat for this, the only meat that you can buy that's labeled for this is either extremely processed and full of other things, or is so fresh that it has to be on the day of, and there's usually some professional there checking whether or not it's safe. So in terms of safety, it doesn't seem that bad to eat because for the most part you won't die. But in terms of the flavor, again, it's just even like it's strange to me. It's strange to say this, but I'm actually falling out of eating sushi, and not because it's like a weird texture thing. I feel like I'm craving the flavor of it being cooked more than it being raw, because sure, like cooked is pretty nice, right? But even thinking about my favorite type of fish to eat, whether it's in sushi style, with full on like raw sashimi, or in cooked style, even salmon. After a while, like I think maybe the first bite of salmon, it's really good, it's really rich, and it's really sort of fatty and oily and nice. But after that, I just kind of think to myself, man, I kind of wish that this was cooked. Because there's an extra flavor dimension to it that I really, really enjoy when it's cooked and it starts to flake off into the meat fibers versus just raw. And eventually, like, there's almost like this layer of slime on it. And that slime is really the hard part of why I think the flavors sort of go awry. Especially if you get like a pack of good. Like even a pack of the best sashimi has this very very slimy, almost grotesque texture. Not to say, and again, I used to love sushi, but something about the raw fish, I now think to myself, I kind of wish I had the flavor of the cooked fish. However, not to say that I want to change the form of sushi. I think the flavors work specifically very well with sushi because it's a food form that is being developed around the flavors of the raw fish, right? With and which means it's not the flavors of the cooked fish. So you can't just like cook the fish on top, lay it on top, and call it sushi because it's a whole different flavor profile. And it's even like the way that you eat it, the way that it feels in your mouth, that texture, and the way that you chew it is completely it's completely different too. I'm not saying that sushi should be changed. I'm saying that for me personally, I feel like this is going to be hard for me to swallow. But this is the most egregious thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like what happened to like? Because the thing is, right? This is Harvey's Hamburgers. There's this fast food chain called Harvey's in Canada, and the one thing that it has too is that it's the meat. Their whole thing is that Harvey's hamburger patty. Wish I could find like the meat, the meat hamburger meat. What they do now, and maybe okay. Well, I mean, I'll probably just use this image. This is well, no, not to that. Harvey's. Is there no image of the burger without the top bun? The way that I see it, because I eat the burger like floor by floor. Am I the only one who eats it? Oh, perfect. Oh, here we go. Guess I mean that's a vet. Okay, Harvey's hamburger deconstructed ASMR deconstructed ASMR. It's gonna be impossible to find this. This is probably the best picture that I can get, and this is probably also not the best because it's so low quality, but it's fine. Um, there's this fast food chain in Canada called Harvey's, and their whole thing is they use real ground beef, real juicy flame grilled beef, and you can see it in the shape of the beef. You see those like tendrils that are there. It's because for some reason they do this, and it's not to say that that's a bad thing, but I kind of feel like you shouldn't, for ground beef, you shouldn't have it looking like the tendrils. Something about the tendrils is unsettling. Not to say that it's any more or less unsettling than the fact that it's the flesh of a dead animal, right? Because I think that by itself is very, very obvious as to why it's unsettling. But it's something about the way that the wavy texture feels in your mouth that makes you go, ooh, I really didn't like that. Or you see it and you go, ooh, I don't know if this is like particularly appetizing. The shape of a burger, I feel like, should be more, I don't know, round in a way, more like clumpy. But you kind of see it here, and even kind of here, they just pull it out the package and you see each strand of meat. And I think the thing that gets me is that it's such a perfect strand of meat that it cooks down basically entirely evenly, despite the fact that each and every single strand almost protrudes out of the meat like a whole different way. And it's you know what it is? It feels like it takes on a whole different form of life when it's like the tendril form itself. And honestly, it's crazy because I think people in Wisconsin would really love Harvey's if they knew about the burgers there. Anyways, so that comes from Metz, which is a which is the original German version of the dish. So it's raw ground pork on a bread roll, and you eat it, with some salt and pepper, and maybe like a little bit of onion, and you're good, right? Craziest thing is this image. But when I saw this, maybe like last night, very very late, I was like, what the? Because this is sick. Like this is actually sick. One, this takes time and effort to do. Like it takes a genuine amount of skill to be able to do something like this. Two, it's like Frankenstein. It's like a human butcher type of deal where you take the form of another animal, where you take the substance of another animal and you form another animal with it. It's the type of thing that people write about for necromancers, if that makes sense. Which, and thinking about it, maybe like somebody who really didn't like to eat meats, maybe somebody who was vegan wrote sort of the lore of necromancy, because how else can you come up with the idea of flesh being molded, flesh being changed, or somebody who doesn't like to have surgery being done on them? Because back then surgery was scary. But yeah, this is just this is insanity. But apparently it tastes really good. So one day I do want to try it, even though it is a bit scary to do so because it's like you have to get. But apparently in Germany it's like really really hard to get really really bad versions of this meat. Like every year there might be 6 people who will get trichinosis. 6 people. And I'm pretty sure from normal meat, people get more cases of trichinosis than from this dish in particular, which is pretty intense. Because as you imagine, you would think it'd be way higher given that it's just raw pork. But yeah, I'm curious to always like try these new dishes to see how it tastes like. Because while I might think it's weird, I eat balut, which it's a name there in the Vietnamese. It's hop ra, and it's basically yeah. Here we go. This is probably the most gruesome image of it. You can kind of see the chicken in it, and you can see the yolk. The egg white is the worst part of the process, where the egg white tastes like a rock. It's literally a rock. But the yolk is like actually the yolk is also a rock. Everything but the chicken itself is basically a rock. And boy, does that chicken taste good. And you know that chicken is good because it's like the whole thing. Look at this fella. What's interesting is that I eat this, but I look at the raw meat stuff and I go ooh. But it's like they're basically both the same deal. Where it's this like also this website's interesting. Germanculture.com.ua. I didn't know that. What is the .ua domain? What is a UA domain? It's the top level country code for Ukraine. This is the top level country code for Ukraine. Oh wait, so this is a German site in Ukraine. So we have this. Like, balut compared to these is the exact same. No matter how you slice it, they're both some weird version of food that we decided to have because probably back then it was just hard to guarantee certain stages, and so it was like, if you don't want to get a fire going because it costs you firewood, and you have to choose, okay, do you save the firewood for like a really cold day, when you might need it to survive the winter? Versus to make a single meal during the day. Like using fire to make food is very simple, but at the same time, it's also very costly because it requires resources that you can't get back for another day, right? But the problem is that we have to eat every single day, and so if you don't already have a fire going for whatever reason, I can totally imagine how somebody could have come up with this, where they go, well, I've already gone through the process of getting the pork and grounding it up the way that like you would do with a bunch of knives and just chopping it, right? But I don't have a fire, and it's kind of annoying to go and get a fire going because I don't need a fire here. And in fact, it probably has to be cold in some places to be able to process certain things, right? And this is maybe before electricity. And so I was like, all right, sure, I'll just like eat the pork raw because at this point, you start the fire, you lose the firewood, you might not have enough firewood for winter. Firewood costs money, right? And back then, it's not like we had these different systems like electricity for pennies. Like all the cost of electricity is kind of insane given the amount of effort that we go to make electricity. So I can sort of see how this happens, where it's like, all right, why spend my precious gold coins on firewood when I can just go and get this thing? Just make this. Yeah, and what's crazy though is that even the onions are raw. I feel like the modern day construction could use a caramelized onion. But I digress. I'm not a big fan of raw onion. Like I like the flavor sometimes, but especially when it's meant to be like a topping on a dish, I feel like the spiciness can cut a little bit too strongly. I enjoy a much sweeter sort of slightly less tangy flavor to it, but still with enough crunch that it feels good. But again, it's all the same as this thing. And actually, this is an insane photo. Not as in like it's insane as in bad, but this is a really good photo to really demonstrate what it is without necessarily getting any worse. And again, you can see the capillary veins of the thing growing, the blood veins, all those nutrients being pushed around. And what's crazy is I love it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, maybe I shouldn't scroll down too much, but it's a little intense to like see it. But even this, like, I can see how this probably was accidentally made because you just need eggs, right? And you get food no matter what you do, right? And if you see a duck laying an egg and you see it like taking care of it, and then you kill the duck to like eat it as well. And then you say, okay, well, there's no point leaving the eggs. We might as well take the eggs back home. They probably cracked the egg open, saw a small chicken, and was like, ugh. But then they were like, wait a minute, it's the same as a big chicken, anyways. Because really, the difference between this and a big chicken is basically nothing in terms of the cost of eating it and the cost of having to get used to it. Except the big chicken has more opportunity to transform it into something that is more palatable versus the baby chicken where it's like you can't transform it. So there's just not enough room to. So you see it for what it is, and so you eat it. And it's like I can totally see how this would have happened, that they would have come to the idea of making this dish, because you find ducks, you say, ooh, ducks. We tried those last time, and last time was pretty good. So you hunt duck, you bring home duck to eat. Then you see, well, duck laid egg. Maybe we should bring some back. You crack it open. You see it comes with like a fertilized thing, and then you say, well, wait, why bother with that? Let's just cook the eggs directly inside the shell, inside the water, and we'll see what happens. And then you have whatever this is. It's always fascinating to sort of learn about food and to go through this process of learning so much about food and wondering why in the world is the food like this. Anyways, I just want to share with you my thoughts on food because I was thinking very deeply about it. And I was like, especially after that game, Eclipsium, which is actually, we're going to see it again today to some degree. It's interesting to sort of see why we eat the way that we do and why specifically the foods that we eat end up the way that they do, and why we view it in the way that we do too. Because it's strange to view it in any other way than all of it is sort of strange. Like all the food that we eat is just sort of strange. Like you're telling me you put water and meat and a bunch of rocks into a pot and you make something that tastes good that you enjoy eating on a daily basis, and for some reason the soup has churned like a thick brown liquid, and you think that that's tasty. It's like, wait, and then you know what I mean? Like even just a base form of stew with meat and vegetables is just, you expected all of this to work and somehow it works. Wow, that's like crazy. Today we're going to be doing some interesting things. One, I think I found a secret in Karamara, which I didn't mean to, and I swear this sounds fake, but I'll show you why I found this secret. Two, I'm trying to understand Eclipsium, and I don't think there's any secrets in that, but I realize that I probably have to replay the game to get like a full experience, because there's actually some decisions I probably could have done differently, and I'll go over that as well. Three, I've got a new song for you all that I found. The algorithm has blessed me once more with a really interesting song that I really enjoyed, from somebody who's actually been making songs for a while. And it's actually interesting to see the indie musician space on YouTube and see how hard it is to make it happen. Four, there's at least 3 other small horror games that we're going to be playing today, but there's a 4th one as well, if we get to it. And then 5th, we'll end the day on Ratshakers. So today's a very, very action-packed day. There's a lot of things going on today, because I figured these games are so small that it's sort of hard to do them otherwise, and I have a lot of these very small horror experiences, and I kind of figured, well, we're already getting kind of tight on the timeline for Halloween. And I know that sounds crazy because it's only the 12th, but that's how many games I have. Like, I have a lot of games for Halloween. And again, Anthology of the Killer, each time we play it, it's maybe like half an hour to 2 hours. And that's per game in the collection. And the collection has, 7-8 games? And that's one of the many collections of games that I have. And then that also doesn't discount the fact that I have many long hour, long playtime horror games just waiting to be played. Alongside the fact that some days I might even do like very specific concepts. Like tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so you get a Thanksgiving horror day. So I'm really getting kind of worried here that we might not get through this list of Halloween of horror games I've been meaning to play for a very long time, and I'm really hoping that we get there, because if we don't get there, I don't know what to do. And I really do enjoy these games. But first, we're going to move on to Karamara, because I think I found a secret, and I didn't mean to, but I'll get into why or how I found it in just a moment. Just give me a second. I know it sounds fake, but I swear it's real. In the meantime, I figured it'd be funny if we just, like, I don't know, watch things. Because I realize I have this, like, giant folder of videos that you never see again. And you won't even know that it exists unless I decide to play it for you. But I never play it for you, because how often do you get to just play these stupid meme videos for someone, right? And this one is particularly impossible, I think, to get copyrighted on. If only because I don't think anybody even knows about this movie, except for the fact that it. Well, I mean, this was a famous movie back in like ye olden days, especially in China, apparently. But it's a very good movie about the Monkey King. Wait, no, not the Monkey King. So no, this was this the Monkey King one? Yeah. About the Monkey King and then Buddha going on a journey, and then she turns into a giant battle angel, and she's like fighting stuff. And then, anyways, it's a fantastic movie. But the best part is for some reason when he goes up these stairs. I don't know why they filmed this section in particular. He's trying to reach her, and they made him slip down, right? And look what happens to the actor. I actually feel kind of bad for him. Because this must have hurt in real life. It's actually one of the best bits of acting ever. Like that must have hurt like crazy. Look at this. Like that. That is not a fake head slam. That is like he hit his head. He didn't mean to hit his head when he was going down the stairs acting the scene out. That's an intense head slam onto what even if it's like a piece of like mold, even if it's like a molded styrofoam thing, that still hurts your head and your neck at that angle, especially at that angle, right? Because don't try it like heavily, but if you try to move your neck up, down, left, right when facing forward, it's fine. If you bend your head at a 45-degree angle to the left or to the right, and then you try to move it up, down, left, and right, you're gonna snap the back of your neck. It's actually really dangerous. It's one of the things that you shouldn't do. Anyways, all these videos that I could show you, but I never get a chance to, and so it's like you never get to see it. For instance, I'm the only person still with this video. Or now with this video. This thing is gone now. You know what? Yeah, just enjoy this as I start the game. That was fun. I'm gonna go now. Whatever the secret is, I have no clue. Okay? I feel like I'm getting close with the angle of using the tree and looking at the tree and doing the thing. But I'll figure it out afterwards. I have no clue. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Tomorrow, we will never know. I was actually going to play a bunch of horror games today because I thought, oh, this will only be like a 5-minute venture. You know what's crazy? I thought 5 minutes in and out really quick, and well, no. 5 minutes in and out really quick. We just do this. We like look at this thing that I found on the credits when I was doing a VOD review. Do you know how much I wrote for Eclipsium? Like, I have the notes that I wrote for Eclipsium were twice as long. As in, like, things that I needed to check out within the game and try out. And even trying to decipher what the game was about, right? And this was half as long as that, and it took 7 hours. I don't know what to do. Like, it's actually so hard. 7 hours in the past, Stick didn't know. Yeah. How could we ever have known? Goodbye, everyone. See you all tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll actually play some horror games. I won't do the Eclipsium bit, but tomorrow we'll do some actually really cool horror games. We're going to start a long-form horror game series that we intend to finish. I was thinking about finishing You Will Die Here tonight, but I realized it doesn't compel me enough to want to yet, and I think I want to do this horror game first, and tomorrow's going to be a real horror game. So it's going to be genuinely terrifying. As well as a number of other smaller ones in honor of Thanksgiving, because tomorrow is Thanksgiving in Canada. And we don't celebrate it, at least my wife and I. So tomorrow, we're going to get some food for the family during Thanksgiving in these various horror games. Hopefully you enjoy what I have planned. Have a good night, everyone. Please buy the game. Figure out the other grave secret. Please let me know if you can figure out the secret. And if you do, please tell me what the secret is. I literally don't know if I can figure it out. But it has to do with something about the tree. Maybe you have to beat the game and then you talk to the tree. I don't know. You figure it out. Good luck, team. Bye, everyone.